You give me a 1% chance of making it happen, I'm willing to bet on myself any day because I know I'm willing to put in that work.
Hey, welcome back to the Athletes Podcast. This is episode 199, where we showcase champions and share their journey. Today, we're diving deep with a titan in the world of athletics and fitness, Charles Austin. From soaring heights to the dedication on the ground, Charles embodies the spirit of a true champion, a self-coached prodigy who claimed Olympic gold, shattered the American and Olympic high jump records, and garnered titles like the two-time world champion, World Cup champion, and a 9-time national track and field high jump champion. A 3-time Olympian, Charles didn't just stop at medals and accolades. He's been immortalized in sports history with his induction into the United States Track and Field Hall of Fame. Off the track, he's been a beacon of inspiration, sharing his experiences in his book, Head Games, Life's Greatest Challenge. But that's not all. Charles is also a revolutionary inventor. Drawing from his extensive athletic experience and overcoming a career-threatening knee injury, he birthed the Total Bodyboard, a game-changer in fitness equipment. Its premise is built around strength, speed, endurance, and so much more, all packed into one versatile piece, tailor-made for everyone, from beginners to pros. If you're intrigued, head over to totalbodyboard.com to discover more. But Charles' journey transcends his personal achievements. In 2001, he ventured into the world of athletic coaching and fitness with SoHi Sports and Fitness. NBA legends like John Starks, he's trained them. Young high school hopefuls, he's trained them. Over 90% of the students Charles has worked with have secured athletic scholarships for college. And it's not just athletes. From fitness enthusiasts to those on a healing journey, Charles has touched countless lives, helping them achieve their peak potential. Dive into his world at sohisports.com. So gear up as we unveil the life, legacy, and lessons from the high jump legend, fitness guru, and holistic coach, Charles Austin. If you can hear a bit of background noise, we're actually recording this down under in Australia currently before we head back to Canada. And one of the things we wanted to highlight was the incredible support that we've received from Caldera Labs. If you haven't noticed, my skin's looking a little nicer. The beard's looking a little fuller. I actually want to highlight 2 products in particular that Caldera Lab has changed the game on. The first one, the beard. It's a conditioning oil that not only helps the hair on the outside, but the skin underneath it stay rejuvenated, refreshed, and looking youthful. I've been using it every single day. I can't get enough of this stuff. The other stuff we've been using is the Icon. If you folks didn't know, we're still working Eastern Standard Time hours, so that requires us waking up at midnight and working until 8 a.m. in the morning. So to avoid those baggy, dark under-eye marks, I've been using the Icon every single morning, and it keeps me looking refreshed so that I can do intros like this and make sure that I don't look like I'm tired. Pretty good if you ask me. Caldera Lab creates high-performance men's skincare products, and the regimen leads off their product lineup, a twice-a-day routine to transform your skin. Whether it's cleaning, hydrating, refreshing, these products do it. I can't get enough of them. They know that the skincare world is heavily female-driven and has long been in the wild, wild west for men. That's why we're making the solution simple, and that's why you folks can receive their best offer right now. Get 20% off by using the code AP20 at checkout. And guys, you got to let me know what you think of this stuff because I'm loving it. I want to know if you guys like it as well. It would mean the world to me. It also means the world to me that you're tuning into this episode of the Athletes Podcast. As you know, we have our athlete agreement. It simply means that you have to hit that subscribe button for watching this episode. We don't ask for any payment, anything else. We just ask that whether you're watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify, Apple, you hit that subscribe button and you share this with an athlete, coach, or an individual that you think will benefit from hearing it. Because on our journey to educate, entertain, and inspire, we need your help along the way. And I really appreciate you folks for tuning in. This is the 199th episode featuring Charles Austin. Here we go. Okay. Well, hey, Charles Austin.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing well.
Good,
First off,
good.
thank you so much for giving us the honor of chatting today on the Athletes Podcast.
Yeah.
Someone who we connected on LinkedIn, actually, I believe, right?
Right. That's how we connected, LinkedIn.
And you big social media LinkedIn guy?
Well, you know, promoting my Total Bodyboard, I just try to get it out there, man. I'm not social media is a little frustrating because I don't understand it all right just well enough, but I just try to post about my product, about my gym, stuff like that, and trying to get it out there.
Kudos to you, because that's not something that typically all generations are willing to embrace. It's the younger generation that's spending a ton of time on social media, whether that's good, bad, or ugly. I was really just enamored at the fact that we were able to chat, talk about it, and then figure out a way to make it down here to San Marcos to be able to chat. Checking out your facility here, it's incredible.
Thanks.
You said you started building it in 2007?
Yeah, I broke ground in 2007. What was that? August of 2007, and I had it open by February of 2008. And so it's been cool, man. It's been a nice little journey.
Yeah, it's amazing. We well, for those who don't know, you're an Olympic high jump record holder, 7 foot 10 inches. American high jump record holder, 7 foot 10 inches and a half.
Yep.
And also the inventor of the Total Bodyboard.
Right.
There's probably so many different ways we can talk about this. I try and keep the Athletes podcast unique and not have it, stereotypical podcast asking those stereotypical questions. But I do want to know what it's like to jump higher than your height. That's got to be something pretty crazy.
Well, it's cool, man. I didn't start off wanting to high jump. It was just something that fell into my lap my senior year of high school. Some friends talked me into coming out. At first, coach told me no, I couldn't be on the team. And, friends went in and talked to him, and he was like, oh, if he can jump 6 feet, he can be on the team. So went out, jumped 6 feet in my jeans and basketball shoes, and that year ended up jumping 6'11". That was my senior year. And the first 2 years of college, I really wasn't focused, really wasn't into it. And so after my sophomore year, that's when I was like, man, if I'm going to do it, I might as well, see what can happen. And so things just turned around quickly after putting that work in that summer and that fall. Ended up getting, second at the NCAA championships that following year, the outdoor NCAA championships. And that's when it was like, okay, I didn't even really put everything into it. So let me see what can happen. So that next year, ended up winning NCs and had a personal best. That junior year, I had a personal best of 7'5" and a quarter. That next year, I came back, jumped 7'8" and a half. Couple of weeks after that, I won NCs in Duke. That was my senior year. It's like, okay, there's something here.
Yeah.
Put in a little bit more work. First year out of college, set the current American record with 7'10" and a half. Won my first outdoor world championships that year in Japan, Tokyo, Japan. And things just went from there, man. It's been pretty interesting.
You and MJ getting rejected in high school and then coming back and proving them wrong, eh?
Oh, hey. Well, I don't look at it as proving anyone wrong. I never got into that. I know everyone say how he uses that for motivation, but I'm a little different. It's about proving myself right. I know nothing outside really motivates me. It's what once I lock on to something I want to do, and in my head I should make it happen. So it's always about proving myself right.
I love that.
Yes.
What other sports did you play growing up? Because obviously you were athletic and you were able to just join the high school team immediately.
My thing, I wanted to play basketball.
Okay.
Coming out of high school, I was 5'10" and a half. At that time about 135, 140.
Okay.
And we had actually pretty solid team that year that we felt was going to do something special, but things didn't happen. And so I didn't get any offers or any looks whatsoever during the season. And so the funny thing, I started high jumping, and I only got 2 scholarship offers. One from McNeese, and I actually went on a visit there. And while talking to the track coach, he was like, hey, the basketball coach would like to talk to you after the meeting. I was like, okay, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard from anyone. So we had the meeting, and the basketball, one of the assistants walk in and took me down to the basketball head coach's office, and we're sitting there talking. He was like, hey, I heard you can play basketball. You have a pretty decent game. It's like, I feel I'm okay.
Yeah.
I can hold my own. And he was like, I have somebody that I want, you to go and do some stuff on the court with, and I just want to watch and see what you can do. And next thing you know, Joe Dumars walked in. He was with the Pistons. That's who he wanted me to get on the court with.
Damn.
And so we go down to the arena, and Joe and I get on the court, and the coaches stands on the sideline and watches. And afterward, Joe walks over, and they're all talking, and I'm just on the court shooting. Coach offered me a full scholarship. Play basketball. He was like, you're a basketball player.
Yeah.
You can high jump after basketball season, but we want to have you on the team, and I'm offering you a full scholarship. So I was like, okay, if you don't mind, let me think about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm from a small little country town here in Texas, and I didn't know much back then. And I had this visit here at the time it was Southwest Texas. And so I wanted to come and see this school as well. And so me decided to come here to school at now Texas State on a $450 and book a semester scholarship. Turned down a full scholarship to play basketball and came here. But even the funny thing, like I say, I didn't know how much college cost and all of that. And that was one of the headaches with my first 2 years, believe it or not. Once I got here, I started finding out more about scholarships.
Yeah.
And some of the guys on the team who were not jumping anywhere close to what I could jump. They could jump 6'6" on a great day. They were on better scholarships. And it's like, okay, what's going on?
They snagged you for a deal.
Yeah. So very quick reality check. And, that played a part in my, I guess, not being focused my first couple of years. It's like, what the hell, man? How are you going to give me this scholarship and give them that? So it all worked out.
How'd you afford school? Like $450 a month wouldn't even cost a semester. That wouldn't even cover groceries.
I got Pell Grants and student loans to cover the rest.
Okay.
I come from a single parent household, youngest of 10, so there wasn't very much.
Well, that was what I was going to bring up. I'm like, those must have been some competitive backyard and living room games.
No, I was the youngest of 10, so my brothers are older and sisters are older, so, they were not around very much.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time with, friends in the community.
Okay.
And we were very active in sports like that. But as far as family, I was so much younger than everyone else, and they were all gone doing their own things. So
I kind of assumed you'd have some older brothers beating up on you, toughen you up, made you hard as steel,
No beating up. But
Mom wouldn't let that happen.
I had one, the one next to me. He's 2 years older. Him and I would get into it quite a bit. But nothing too serious.
Would you win?
The funny thing, because I was so small, 8th grade, I was, probably about 5'2", 73 pounds. And he could get the best of me, during that time. But I think around my sophomore year is when it was like, okay, I had enough of this here. And we got into our last little spat. And so
that was that.
Yeah. We changed that up real quick.
So I'm curious, was it your training during school? What was it? Because you obviously didn't have the Total Bodyboard when you were going through school.
Right.
And you didn't have that when you're winning Olympic gold medals.
Yeah.
Like, what what was the inspiration? Was it seeing different training modalities over the years, traveling around? Give me some insight there.
No, my first introduction to resistance band training was in 1993.
Okay.
In 1990, my senior year, I tore my patellar tendon. And at the time, I thought it was jumper's knee. That's what they were telling me. Because
Okay.
I'd never been hurt. And it was like, oh, you just have jumper's knee, tendonitis. It's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
All I know is hurt like shit every time I jump. And so I continued to jump on it in 1990, 1991, 1992. You know, like I say, I won world championships and set the current American record in 91. 92, the knee was just, it was giving me a lot of trouble.
Understandably.
And finished 8th at the Olympics. And then 93 came back, and that's when I had surgery.
Okay.
And 4 different doctors, 2 here in the U.S., 2 over in Europe,
Okay.
came back after seeing my MRI slides and was like, your career is done. You're done. Your knee or tendon is so damaged.
Doctors here told you that?
All 4 of them.
Whoa.
You know, and they were like, we can't see you jumping again. You know, it's so badly damaged. So I had Dr. DeLee here in San Antonio do my surgery, and where he removed right at half of my patellar tendon, and then the rest he just sliced and stitched up the best he could. And he was like, hey, Charles, I don't know what to tell you. So I started doing my own rehab at home. And what I did, I just got all of these different resistance bands. And I would just mess around at home, you know, step on them, tie them to my couch or whatever, you know, to secure them where I could get some exercise in. And sure enough, that started working pretty well. That next year, that was July 7th of 1993. 94, well, by that December when I started training, I jumped 610 from 5 steps that December. And after that, it was like, oh shit, I can jump.
So you go send that to your doctors?
Yeah,
send them
I
that?
was like, I'm good. And so, well, leading up to that point, I would stress him out because he would have me come in, you know, periodic checks and stuff like that to see how I was doing. And within 2 weeks, I was off my crutches after surgery. And he would have a fit. He's like, damn it, Charles, get up here. And so I would always have to go back and he'll check everything. It's like, Doc, I feel pretty good, man. You know, and I told him what I was doing, and he's like, shit, keep doing it.
Yeah.
And so that December, like I say, I jumped 610 from 5 steps. 94, I came out and I jumped 7-7. The knee was still giving me a little sore, you know. But
so you're battling through it still?
Yeah, it was still manageable.
Okay.
You know. 95, came back, I jumped 7-8. Which was the 5th highest jump in the world that year. And so after that, it was like, okay. And it was still hurt a little bit.
Yeah, you're on half a knee.
It was still hurting a little bit. And so I just told myself after that point, shit, I'm good. You know, 1 or 2 things going to happen. I'm going to jump really well, or I'm going to tear it up where I can't jump anymore.
Yeah.
And so that was my attitude going into training during that fall of 95, preparing for 96.
Yeah.
And the fall training went well. No soreness, no hurting, no nothing. So this was the first time I was actually healthy where I didn't hurt since 1990.
5 years, half a decade.
My senior year competing here at Texas State. That was the first time I could do stuff without pain whatsoever. So that fall, I just went at it, you know, like a madman. And that's the first time, like I say, I could commit 100% mentally and physically. And so 96, shit, I opened up, rolling. Jumped a personal best indoors, 7'9" and a quarter. Came back, my first outdoor meet, jumped 7'9" and a quarter, real easy again. You know,
no big deal.
And so it was like, oh, I got this, you know.
Why is it that this is not the first time a doctor has given a recommendation saying that, your career's over, you're not going to be able to play again, and people are able to overcome these crazy feats. Was it the mindset for you? Was it the resistance bands? Like, anything you can attribute to that mentality? Like,
I think it was both.
Yeah.
My mindset, once I decide to do something, you give me a 1% chance of making it happen, I'm willing to bet on myself any day because I know I'm willing to put in that work.
Yeah.
And I'm going to, do everything I can and learn everything I can to give myself that chance to make it happen. Because that's just that crazy mindset, I guess, that I have. I just ingrain myself into it and just grind it out and try to figure things out. And also, especially during that time, I was very in tune with my body. I coached and trained myself.
Wow.
So I had to, when I'm out training, when I'm writing my workouts up, I had to be really focused and, especially coming out of that knee injury, I had to pay attention to what my body was telling me. And so, going through that process after surgery and once I started using the resistance bands, I started like, okay, this works. This feels good, and I could see the muscles coming back in my leg and I could feel myself getting stronger. And so it was like, okay, I'm going to stick with this here. I'm going to stick with using it. So the rest of my career, I stuck with using resistance band training with everything I was doing. I never took that off the equation. That was part of my workout.
Did you use weights at all?
Yeah, I still did all
Okay.
my other stuff, but for that support work, and that strength building, tendons, joints, and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and still being able to work at a really, really high level, I could do that with those resistance bands, so I kept it there. And so I think, like, back to your question, just my mindset and dedication to getting back out there. Like I say, once I set my sights on making something happen, I'm gonna give my all into to accomplishing that goal. So that's all it was for me. Those two things.
I'm getting like goosebumps just thinking about how you could be in pain for 5 straight years, come out, prove yourself right, as you would put it, and defy all the odds to be able to come out on top, representing your country. Being a Canadian, I always like to ask guests, like, you guys have a bit of a national pride as well, as Americans.
Well, yeah, but I wasn't looking at that. It was all about what Charles wanted.
Yeah.
And that's what I focus on. That's all I do, man. I've been blessed with this. I was blessed with that gift, so I wanted to see where it could go.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm proud. I'm a very proud American, but when it all said and done, I have bills to pay.
Yeah.
I have goals that I want to accomplish for myself, and that's what it's about. And taking care of my family. So
High jump, not necessarily the most fruitful as far as
no, not at all.
high-paying sports.
Not at all.
How were you able to get additional funding? Was that through sponsorship? Was that
No. The funny thing, I had sponsors where I was getting paid only 2 years throughout my entire career, where they were paying me a yearly stipend, and that was 92, 93, 93, 94, and Mizuno gave me 25,000, and Mazda gave me 20,000. So
in a car?
no, they didn't give me a car.
Man.
So I lived a very frugal life. I wasn't very flashy and all of that. I had a family, and so I was just trying to pay attention to what I was doing with the money that I did earn. Those years after having surgery, those were some rough years
I bet.
because I wasn't making hardly anything. Almost, I was shit, 5-6 months behind on my house payment, car payments. You're getting a foreclosure notice and repossession notice. But, I was blessed because, Mr. Markham at Nation Bank, he was real cool. He was like, Charles, don't worry. I'll work with you. You just get back healthy and focus on what you need to focus on.
Wow.
And then, I don't know who I had my car loans through. They were the same. They were just like, hey, Charles, just get healthy. We want to support you in every way we can. So, that took a lot off my plate right there.
Yeah.
And so once I started competing again in 94, 95, started making a little money, I was able to catch up on some bills and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then 96, the funny thing, I didn't even have a contract in 96. I did a one meet contract with Mizuno in 96, and that was for the Olympics. That was it. And even after the Olympics, didn't have another contract. I had a performance agreement with Nike.
Okay.
Later on, 99, 98, 99, 99, I think, where if I won a certain meet, I would get $1,000
compensation
yeah,
somehow.
some not much, if
Yeah.
anything. But I just, like I say, tried to pay attention. With the little money that I was earning,
Mm-hmm.
I tried to make sure that I was taking care of my bills and being able to take care of my family, and so it all worked out, man. It wasn't, it was I guess tough,
Mm-hmm.
but in a way it really wasn't, because I knew that, especially once the knee started feeling good, I was cool.
Yeah.
And throughout my whole career, I knew track and field, especially high jump, I didn't look at it as making a lot of money.
Mm.
And I knew it wasn't very much, from being told that before I turned professional, and then once I started competing professionally, I saw right away this is not
Yeah.
life-changing money by any means.
Mm.
So in my head, I looked at it as a means to an end. While I'm doing it, I need to really focus and get as much out of it as I could, because I graduated with a business management degree, but I knew if I stayed in track and field, there was kids coming up behind me with more information that they've been taught in college, and so actually I'm gonna be behind. The longer I stay in track and field, the longer I'm gonna be behind. The longer, getting that opportunity compared to the fresh people coming out, it's gonna be, that job market is gonna be tough.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, I need to get as much out of it as I could. And so I just set my sight on the different things that I wanted that could carry me over to that next chapter in life.
Mm.
Championships, records, just being disciplined and focused. That can carry over.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just, dead set on that. Throughout my career, I didn't compete very much. I had, over my entire professional career, I had 234 competitions total over a 15-year career.
Wow.
Javier Sotomayor, the world record holder, he jumped 6.5 more times than I competed over my career.
That's a fun one.
So my things was just, when the big meets came, that's what I focus on. Everybody knew me as this person that when it's time to compete, there's a big meet, he's going to show up. And that's what I did. That was my focus. I needed, those records. I needed championships. I needed that gold medal,
Yeah.
and all of that. to make my life what it is now. You know.
Kudos to you.
Yeah, so it was interesting, man. It was interesting, that whole process, and I'm not even telling you half the story of that journey leading up. You know, if I really got into everything that was going on, you're probably like, what the hell?
Well, I'm already feeling that way now. I'm trying to it's a testament to your unwavering belief in yourself, and that you are capable of putting whatever you set your mind to. I'm like trying to relate it to myself the way we're doing this podcast, self-funding, bootstrap, traveling around, you know, and it's like I'm not making really any money from this right now, but I know that if we keep doing this, people keep watching, people appreciate stories like yours, being able to share, learn from, see that there's other avenues to acquire wealth outside of what you're doing in that moment, because it can lead to other things down the road.
Well, what I advise you to do, enjoy what you're doing, man. Don't worry about all that other stuff. Yeah, you have you understand. I got bills to pay. I have this. I have that. Okay, that's cool. So what I did is like, I understand all that is going on and all that is around me, but I need to focus on what I'm doing now, because I handle business with that. All that is going to take care of itself. All that is going to be taken care of. So I just suggest for you, enjoy what you're doing, give it your all, and see what happens. And you're in a win-win situation, because even if things don't go as well as you want them to, you're making connections.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
100%.
You're learning more about yourself.
Communication skills.
Communications. So you're winning.
Yeah. That's what I keep reminding myself of.
So don't worry about all this trying to, I want this podcast to blow up and this and that. Just like with me I knew, okay, I want to win the Olympics. Yeah. That's what I wanted to happen.
Yeah.
But the goal for me is every day I wake up, I have to get better in something.
Yeah.
I have to get better every day I wake up. If I'm going to get that, I have to live every day getting better and better and better. And once that moment comes, I'm the best prepared I could be. And what it is going to be.
Yeah. And, you know, like you're doing the best with what you have.
Right
now in that moment. And at the end of the day, that's, you know, that's the best that you can do.
Yeah, and so that's the same thing with my gym. With the Total Bodyboard, you know, I'm just keep taking my time, especially with the board now. That's frustrating.
No, hey, we're gonna get you some additional viewers here. Hopefully, it gets you some.
You know, because it's a new product. People don't really understand resistance band training is still, even though it's been around for a long time, people are used to lifting weights, and you have all of this connected fitness stuff, which it's like, really, come on, you know, the computers need to tell you, you know, how to train and how your body feel. Like I was speaking with someone, and it's like yesterday, and they were like, man, all this new technology is just basically trying to make things simple for people. And they don't understand with fitness, you have to just do it. It's no way around it. You can push these buttons, they do this, do that, but your body is going to tell you.
Yeah.
That's where all your information is. And so that's what the board, that's what I'm trying to get out to them. And like I say, with the resistance, how effective the resistance band training is, and how, you know, the board just opens it all up. So yeah, man, you just got to go at it and see what happens.
Yeah. Hey, if you want a bigger chest, you do push-ups, right?
Yeah. There you go.
It's not rocket science.
It's not rocket science. All the information is there.
Yeah. It's funny you bring it up. Brad Thorpe. I don't know if you're familiar with ISOFIT. He started. I don't want to say something similar, but it's a product fitness-wise. It's kind of almost similar size. It's a big unit, but it's focused on isometric training specifically. Right. Similar to him, he's kind of flown under the radar. He's now acquired the FBI, the U.S. Army, the Raptors, the Houston Rockets. He's got about 5-6 NBA teams, a couple of teams over in Europe. He's sponsoring sailing teams now. So He was
Yeah.
175th episode. He's been doing it since 2012.
Yeah,
This
man.
stuff takes time,
It
right?
takes time. It takes time, just like you were saying. You just got to, keep chipping away. One thing with great high point, I guess, is the Cavaliers. They were like one of the first ones to buy it.
Yeah.
And that year they used it. It flew on before every game, home and away game, on the court, and went on to win the NBA championship with it on the court. And I got video of all of that. So it's just, you got to, like I say, I just have to be patient. It took me, I started high jumping in 1986 as a senior in high school. I didn't win the Olympics till 1996.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
For sure. And you didn't even start until high school. That's still just like flabbergasting
hey, so
on its
things
own.
takes time, and you just got to be patient, man. And that's with me. I believe in myself, and like I said, once I set my sights on something, I just grind it out, and I know, okay, when I need to, like, okay, this is not going to happen. And I know when, hey, I still got a lot more to do. And so I'm still in that stage. And, the board has getting great reviews.
Yeah.
More and more people are hearing about it. And, so it's coming along, man. I just got to keep grinding away.
It's crazy that 2 decades after winning the Olympics, you then have your board featured on the NBA Finals court.
Yeah, hey, man, that's cool.
Right?
Yeah,
Like, that's
cool.
crazy. And I mean,
Yeah.
probably both surreal moments. Can
Yeah.
you take us back to what it felt like both in 96 and then in 2016?
Man, in 96, the funny thing, I went into the Olympics wanting to break the record because I had no doubt in my mind, like I told you before, it was the first time I was healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing hurt. Nothing hurt me. And so for any of those guys to beat me, really in my head, they were not going to beat me.
They didn't have a hope.
I don't care what they would have jumped.
Yeah.
I was prepared to jump. Whatever I needed to do to win, I was prepared. Because in my head, okay, I jumped 7'10" and a half on a hurt knee. Now I'm completely healthy.
Yeah.
You guys, all you're going to do is push me. I need, and this is honest what I was thinking. The night before the final, they give us the chart, the sheet with all the heights. And I planned every jump I was going to take. And I said, okay, if I stay clean through 7'9" and a quarter, I'll break the world record. Yeah, I will break the record. And I knew that this is the Olympics. Somebody's going to step up and push me. And that's what I need. I just need somebody to push me, keep that fire going. And so once the competition started, we got to 7'9" and a quarter. And I missed my first 2 jumps.
Mm-hmm. You
And
went down to your third.
I was pissed. I was pissed. And the reason why I missed them is because I didn't complete the jump. I got up over it, and it's like, oh, I'm over it, and I relaxed too soon and pulled it off with my heel. It's like, damn it, And so after missing that second, and Partica made it on his second, a huge jump, I was like, let's just go to the next height because the confidence, I knew.
Yeah.
I'm
not going for a tie. I want to win.
Yeah, the height was 7'10". I've jumped 7'10" and a half back in 91, injured.
On a bum knee.
On a bum knee. Shit, I can get this here, no problem. And plus I'm in a very competitive atmosphere. That fire is going. I was like, shit, just go to the next height.
Yeah, adrenaline's pumping.
So, and I'm sitting there, and it's like, okay, you missed this. It's, I'm going to go ahead and close the show.
Mm-hmm.
And he missed, and it's like, okay, let's go ahead and get this goal first and foremost.
What was your pre-jump routine? Do you have something like, did you take a couple deep breaths? Were you telling yourself anything in particular like that?
No, man, no.
Really?
I'm one of those, You know, I'm not the type to sit there and do all of this here. And no, when I get on my mark, I'm looking. I go through my steps, you know, my approach. And it's like, okay, these are my checkpoints. I need to hit those checkpoints. And if I hit those checkpoints, I'm good. And once I look for a few seconds, I just go.
I love it because obviously, as you talked about technology, things this day and age, people are dissecting every single moment, second, and it's like you took almost the opposite approach. You didn't have a coach. You're doing this all self-taught. Like,
hey man, the body, you listen to your body. That's all the information you need. Yeah, all this other stuff. I'll give you a perfect example. I designed my building, right? I wrote it, sketched it on a piece of paper. Then I took it to the architect, and he put all of his computer crap together and all of this here, right? And so once we started building, I hired the guy, you know, to put my building together. And I gave him the plans and all of that, the architectural plans, and we started putting things together. And, you know, I'm coming over every day videoing. And this one time I came over and I'm looking like, man, something is not right. I was here the other day and that part was higher. And he's like, are you serious? I was like, yes, that's not right. And I was like, you see, I'm here every day videoing.
Yeah.
And I was like, you need to check that. And he checked, and he's like, dude, it dropped down like 2.5 feet.
Whoa.
And
you could tell.
Yeah, and we were laughing. And he was like, well, just like I said before, yeah, you can go and put all of these things on the computer, and they line up perfect. But once you get in the field and actually doing it, some pieces are not as straight, some are shorter, so you know, it's more you got to get into it, and once you start putting the building together, you're going to have to make some adjustments, right?
Yeah.
So the same thing with me, you know, with my body being in tune. It's like, yeah, this computer can say, oh, you do this and this and this, and you have all this data. But hey, that computer is not telling you what the body feels like.
Yeah.
You know, what positioning the body needs to be in to get its optimal performance. That computer is not going to tell you, okay, do this, and it's necessarily going to work. But if you pay attention to what your body is telling you and what works for your body, that's all you really need. That's the information you really need.
Yeah.
Because we're all different. And, you know, this data say, oh, this. Okay. But my body is saying this. Perfect example. You look at a lot of these sports teams, and let's take the NBA, for instance. They got all these computers and all this data, and they checking this. But everybody gets hurt all the time. The injuries are probably more prevalent now than they were back then.
It's and they got load management.
They got load management. Everybody, football, they got all this data. You need to do this, and you need to this and this and this. Well, your performances are not going up.
Yeah. Something we're trying to change on the Athletes podcast here. You know?
But you listen to your body. You learn the correct technique to doing things.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you really need. That's the only thing I followed during my career. You know, I would listen this here. So hurting my knee was really a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Because it forced me to lock in and listen and pay attention. Like, I was so in tune, I could tell you if I gained a pound. It was like, man, something is off.
Wow.
But you know, I was locked in. Just like they say, you know, people who are blind, their sense of touch and smell is a lot higher. So that's this hurting my knee and me saying, okay, I want to give myself the best opportunity to compete again. So I need to pay attention.
Yeah.
I need to learn. I need to know what my body needs and what works. And so that's all it was, man, just dialing in and remembering, okay, I did this in practice and my body felt really good. I did this in practice, didn't like it.
Yeah. Proof's in the pudding. You've been able to accomplish incredible things.
Just
keep going.
Keep going, man.
2012 USA Track and Field Hall of Fame.
Okay.
What was that?
Well, let's start back. You say so in 26. How did it feel seeing seeing the board?
Yeah, NBA Finals.
What? Oh man, I remember Derek when he called and asked me to come and demo the board in Cleveland, and he's telling me, okay, we want 3.
He's the one that has the ISOFIT as well.
Derek Millender?
I'm pretty sure he's the same.
Is he? I'm asking.
I'm pretty sure he's because he. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's like probably one of the most advanced strength and conditioning coaches if he's pulling in all your guys' stuff.
Yeah, well, he actually came back last year, maybe earlier this year, and bought a 4th board.
Damn.
But that's a good friend of mine, and I remember him telling me, man, I'm gonna travel with the board to all the games and have it on the court. I'm like, the hell you are.
You know how big this thing is?
Well, it's 58 pounds, but, it's like a massage table.
Right.
But just the fact, the NBA going to let you you're going to do, really? And so I'm like, yeah, I hear you. And first game, he took it. I was like, are you kidding me? And sent me video
That's crazy.
of him using it on the court. Another game, sent me video. Like, are he serious? So I would go up to Cleveland. I would meet him in New York. I got video in Madison Square Garden.
Damn.
I got it in the Spurs, the Lakers. So I got all of this video. And so they make it to the final, and he's like, yeah, I'm taking the board. I'm like, no, hell no. No way. And he was like, yeah, I'm taking the board. It's good.
Did it all regular season. Why change?
Yeah,
Don't fix what's not
exactly.
broken. Yeah.
So the first game, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to come to see the first game.
Yeah.
And I go to the first game, and there he comes walking out the tunnel, lays it out, and I'm videoing everything. And every game, he used it. They went on to win the championship, the first and only championship. So something like that, man, that was just as big as winning
I bet.
the Olympics. I couldn't even sleep that night. I was just so, it was unbelievable. And that was sitting there watching it. But after they won, he called me right away, right after the game. It's like, yeah, man, I was watching. And another cool part, ESPN, when I was there for the first game, another good friend of mine, John Starks, I trained him his last couple of years playing.
Yeah.
And he called me. He was like, hey, Charles, where are you at? And I was like, I'm in San Francisco at the game. He was like, dude, they're shorting the board on ESPN. I was like, no. He's like, I'm looking at the board right now. They got Delhi using the board. And the only bad thing about that, they were talking about it. He's like, what contraption that is. Delhi must have brought that from Australia. Because we've never seen that before. But it was cool. It was, man, that, like I say, that was like winning the Olympics all over again.
I bet.
To create something, just, that have this thought that comes to your mind, you bring it to life, and now you're seeing it being used at the highest level. Hey, so that let me know. I just need to keep working, and it'll come.
Matthew Dellavedova was a heck of a player back then too.
Yeah.
2016, he was on a heater that year. Playoffs. He was playing like a different animal.
Well,
probably because of the Total Bodyboard.
Well, he came back and bought his own 2 years ago. He called me and he's like, I want a board. I was like, really? And he bought his own personal board. So it's like I say, man, it's been a nice little journey, learning experience. But it's been fun, and it's coming along. We've got Northside Independent School District just this past February bought 97. They put 3 in each of their junior high schools and 4 in each of their high schools.
Wow.
So and we're talking to a couple other school districts who looking to possibly do the same. So
Good for
yeah,
you.
hey man, it's getting a lot of home consumers buying it, so it's cool, man.
Yeah.
I'm just playing.
Hey, yo, keep doing it. I love it.
So,
It's been a ton of fun chatting with you today,
Yeah.
being able to learn a bit more about your story. Maybe we'll be able to get you on again in the future. You'll have sold another couple thousand boards.
Oh, hey, man.
We'll be able to chop it up, and you'll just still be having fun and keep believing in yourself, right?
Yeah, cool.
We wrap up our episodes by asking our guests their biggest piece of advice for the next generation of athletes. I feel like you've shared a ton, but if there's one thing you want to leave our community with today.
Well, what I would like to say to the younger athletes that are coming up, you have to commit yourself. You have to be disciplined. And it's one thing to say that you want it, but you got to ask yourself how bad. And if you really want it bad enough, you're going to take all those necessary steps to make it happen. Like I say, you're going to be disciplined. You're going to be focused. You're going to listen to your coaches. You're going to take it upon yourself to hold yourself accountable to doing everything it takes to give yourself the best opportunity to achieve your goal. And that's what I tell them. It's easy, man. It's not hard. Just like I wrote the book. I got a book out. It's called Head Games Life's Greatest Challenge. That's the hardest thing. That's the hardest thing, here. Getting this here and this to line up and using those two things to force you to do what you need to do to make it happen. And that's being disciplined and dedicated to the process.
Wise words. A great way to end it. Charles Austin, where can people find you on social media? Where can they buy a board? Where should we be driving them to?
You can go to totalbodyboard.com for my board, So High Sports and Fitness. This is my training facility.
Incredible
Center.
facility. We'll play some B-roll.
And
it looks
then,
insane.
CharlesAAustin.com. You can go there as well. And I'm on all the social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of that nonsense. I'm trying to get a understanding how to navigate through that. But, it's all a process.
Hey, you're doing an amazing job. I can't wait to continue following along. I really appreciate you coming on the Athletes Podcast.
All right, man. Thanks. Enjoyed it.
Thank you, Charles.
Right.
Hey, folks. Thanks for tuning in to that 199th episode of the show. Can you believe we're almost at 200 episodes? I want to say thank you to Charles for letting us come down to his facility in San Marcos. We drove down, recorded 3 episodes in one day. Texas was amazing. Charles was amazing. I can't thank him enough for coming on the show, sharing his insights, knowledge, expertise with all of you folks. I highly encourage you to check out the Total Bodyboard. It's an amazing piece of equipment. And you know who else is amazing? Phoenix Whalen, our producer and editor for the Athletes Podcast. She wants you folks to remember that we have an athlete agreement. Hit that subscribe button wherever you consume the Athletes Podcast. It lets us continue to do this on a weekly basis. And if you couldn't tell by this being the 199th episode, next week is going to be number 200. Can you believe it? Over 4 years in the making. We're almost at 200, and I need you folks to let people know we're at 200 episodes. We want to know who you want to hear from over the next 100 episodes. That's it. Can't thank you enough for tuning in. Hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next week. Peace.